Wala akong preparations na ginawa. Actually, nanood lang ako ng YouTube videos or nag-browse lang ako. So hello, I have another job interview. So this time, the opportunity came from LinkedIn. So para dun sa mga hindi nakakaalam pa or maybe you don't have LinkedIn accounts yet, there are job opportunities in LinkedIn. So pwede kayong mag-apply, may mga job posting, pwede kayong mag-apply, and then sometimes you will also receive messages from headhunters na asking you if you're interested in this and that. 85% of the messages that I received from LinkedIn, mga headhunters talaga sila. So meron lang a few na they came from either the owner or like employees or they work in the company, they're not headhunters. Meron lang isang job na in-accept before through LinkedIn. Ang kausap ko noon was the owner of the small marketing agency, and then I did some small projects for him for a few weeks. Pero kadalasan, either dinedecline ko or hindi ko na pinapursue yung mga opportunity kasi medyo mababa yung rates na ino-offer nila. Kasi usually with agency, may cut sila dun eh. So, kaya siguro mababa. Pero this time, yung opportunity kasi is related to a HubSpot role. Gusto ko kasing i-boost yung aking HubSpot portfolio. Kasi napansin ko sa Upwork, maraming naghahanap ng HubSpot expert and also maganda rin yung rates. So, I do have some experience with HubSpot. Pero gusto ko lang i-boost pa. Gusto ko i-improve pa. Gusto ko yung medyo current yung aking mga experiences. And also, I need projects that I can showcase in my portfolio. Yung mga experiences ko kasi before, hindi sila kasing significant like yung mga experiences ko with other marketing automation platforms. So, yun, hopefully, maganda tong opportunity na to. Basta hindi lang sobrang baba ng rate. Basta maganda naman, and maybe, I don't know. Kasi sa mga agency kasi, usually, na-offer nila parang mga full-time positions. Well, yun, napansin ko lang, based dun sa mga interviews ko before, mga full-time positions yon, and then parang may certain monthly rate. It's not hourly rate. Pero, I guess, depende pa rin. Tignan pa rin natin. Kaya, I'd like to keep an open mind. So, that's why I decided to go ahead with this opportunity. I think yung kausap ko, she's definitely a headhunter, and I think she's working for maybe a US recruitment agency. Kasi yung oras na pinili niya for the interview is 10:30. So, that's most likely her working hours. So, pag night shift, alam na natin na. So, now it's 10:05. I still have 25 minutes kasi 10:30 yung schedule ng interview. It's, again, another 15-minute interview. And I think it's going to be like a discovery interview. So, maybe the headhunter will just see or will just try to gauge my skills and see if it matches with the job requirements the job requirements or whatever the client is looking for. So, I'm not going to have any preparations kasi hindi ko naman talaga alam kung sino yung client kasi I will be interviewing with a headhunter. Again, I will record the interview, pero I'm not going to record the voice of the person who's going to interview with me or interview me for privacy reason. So, hopefully, yung mga lessons or yung mga improvements na na-identify ko from my last video, my last interview, may apply ko dito at hindi ako ganun hindi ako masyadong nininervyos. Well, like what I said, I will be interviewing with a fellow Filipina. So, hopefully, maging mas smooth siya. It's now 10:28, so just 2 minutes before the scheduled call. I already checked my mic, my headset, and my camera. So, usually, you must check mo before every online call or online meeting. So yeah, I still have 2 minutes, but I'm going to start recording now kasi baka hindi ko na ma-record or ma-start yung recording once nag-start na yung interview. Hello! Hi, Laura May. Good evening. Yes, you can call me Cheryl. Hello. Yes, sure. I'd love to discuss that. Yes, actually, I've been working as a freelancer, as an online freelancer since 2008. So it's been many years now since I started So I'm very much familiar with the concept and also the nature of the work. Oh, okay, that's none at the moment. So, but the things that you've mentioned, they are very interesting and very nice to hear. Because normally when you're a freelancer, you're like just you take care of yourself basically. So yeah, so that's good to hear. Yeah, 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 exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I started working as a marketing automation specialist maybe like 7 years ago. Usually I work with agencies, with digital marketing agencies. So first I started working with a US digital marketing agency. And then that's when I got my HubSpot experience. So the platforms, because they're using different platforms, so I use HubSpot, and also back then it's called ShopSpring, but now it's called Constant Contact. I also use Zoho, but not as I don't use it as much as I use HubSpot and ShopSpring. And then I moved to another marketing agency. This time it's a Swedish-based marketing agency, and that's what where I still work now. The main platform that we're using here is again ShopSpring, and then High Level, and also Motic. It's an open source marketing automation platform. So as a marketing automation specialist, what I do is basically I do everything. You could say that I do everything. So I handle onboarding. So I onboard new clients. I train them on how to use the system, and then I also um, do the setups, the basic technical setup, so that they can start using the tool or the platform. And then I also do consultation, so I tell them how they can use the system so that they can take advantage of its features and make sure that they use it to its full potential. And also my favorite part of my job as a marketing automation specialist is building automations, because I think that is the heart of the marketing automation of every marketing automation tool. So I can set up simple to complex, like multi-step automations. Um, for complex automations, usually I consult with the client. We discuss their business process, and then we mapped out. Usually, I map out using like a flow chart or a diagram, and then after that, I automate. So I build the automations myself. I create the workflows, and if they need to integrate with other systems, I often use Zapier to integrate with other systems. So I also map the flow of the integration, and then after that, that's when I hand over or deliver the full solution to the client. I also build different like automated solutions. One of the things that I did was like an NPS solution, because normally when you have like, and when you want to use or want to send out NPS survey, you need a separate application for that. But although now recently they have been incorporating NPS surveys into marketing automations, but basically I did that using Google Sheet and um, a dashboard called Looker Studio. So I also build like, because in some marketing automation tool, although in HubSpot I know they have extensive set of reporting tools, but some marketing automations they don't have that. So there's a need to create like another or a more customized reports and dashboards. So I do that using Looker Studio. So I find a way to export or bring the data into, let's say, a Google Sheet, and use that as my data source, and then I build out the reports in Looker Studio. And then other things, I also provide technical support. So right now, that is the role that I have in the agency that I'm working for right now. Is I work as a solution and support specialist. So I provide technical support since I have knowledge of this marketing platform. So I can easily answer the questions or troubleshoot any like issues they're having with, say, workflows or their automations and stuff like that. No, just marketing automation. Sales, not so much, but I have a good grasp of the sales process because when when I discuss the sales process with clients, so I can kind of understand how it works or how they work, and also I set up their sales pipeline, and I also set up like different automations that are related to sales. But I have no actual experiencing. By sales, do you mean like selling, actual selling, or? Yes, actually, as I mentioned, I do have experience with sales automations, automating the sales process. So, in setting up pipelines and understanding, for example, like usually with sales, sometimes what's important is they need to move the deals from one stage to the other, and also to measure, like for example for reports you can set up like the sales cycle length, where you measure how long it takes from a lead for a lead to become a customer, or the velocity of or the movement of the deal from one stage to the other. So I do have experience in that, if that's what you're asking. Yes, yeah, yeah. As long as they have the necessary data for that, so we can create reports based on those metrics. Yes, I do have extensive experience in integrating Google Sheet with marketing platforms, but I usually use Zapier for that. But if there's like a built-in tool that will allow me to integrate directly to Google Sheet, yeah, I definitely can do that. I understand HubSpot is using a technology from uh, it was called PySync before, because I remember using it, and I think they have already kind of absorbed that tool into their system. So I'm very familiar with how it works with like the mapping of the fields and all that. With HubSpot, I would say maybe on scale of 1 to 10, I would say 7. I also to in order also to like boost my skill, I also have like some certifications. I regularly update my certifications, making sure that I'm updated with the latest features that they have, and also how to use each features correctly based on how they were intended to be used. Though in the like realm of marketing automation, uh, there's a chance that you will be doing the same thing, but with different clients you get to do different things because they have different needs, they have different requirements, they have different, I don't know, use cases maybe. Only because as a freelancer, it's very important for me, I guess, for freelancers to keep on growing, keep on learning, keep on expanding, because that's the only way that we can secure our, or we can have like sort of some sort of job security. Because if you just stay with the current skill set that you have, eventually those skill set will be outdated, or other freelancers will, or I mean technologies evolve. So if you don't keep up with the trends, if you don't keep up with, if you don't acquire as many skills as you can, then yeah, you may be out of job for soon, or sooner than you'd expect. So that's why I want to make sure that I always um, try to see what other opportunities out there for me, and then what other things that I can learn, or other new skills that I can learn. So this is the longest that I've stayed at the one company. Usually I move from like one client to the other, because that's the nature of the freelancing job. So you take on a project, and then after that project is done, you move on to another project, either with the same company or with another company. But this is actually the longest that I've stayed with a company. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. The, yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. I understand that if it's going to be a US client, then definitely, it's almost sort of mandatory to work to match their working hours. In my next job, I guess I sort of touch on briefly on this, is that I want to um, continue uh, learning new things, continue growing. I guess that's like it's you could say it's like part of me to want to learn the new things. And in my new job, I want where I can, aside from learning new things, I can also apply the things that I've already learned, and I can enhance them more. And I would like that new job to give me the freedom to maybe explore, or do something challenging and do something really interesting. That would be like an ideal thing. The reason why I stayed, for example, in my current company right now, is because they allowed me to like learn skills, or for example, like learn how to do reporting outside of the marketing platform, learn how to use new tools and things like that. So those are the things that I would like to be able to do in my job. But at the same time, I also like to learn from the job or the company itself, because I believe, you can learn a lot from the company, maybe the strategies, and also maybe how like the business side of things, rather aside from the technical side of things, or how you do things, but the business side of things. Yes, yeah, I do. I really love marketing automation, because um, back then when I used to work in like a regular day, when I used to have like a regular day job, I work as a developer. But my developing skills are already rusted. It's been like so many years ago since I work as a developer. So I have that kind of logical, analytical training or skill that I was able to employ or to use in my like marketing automation roles. And so I find that it's I find that it's familiar, but at the same time it's new, and I am challenged by sometimes I'm challenged by the limitation. So it's like I always try to like think outside of the box on how I can implement something that is, or how I can like translate processes into, for example, into workflows. So I find those challenging, and I find that marketing automation, it's like being a soft developer, but at the same time it's also being like, it allows me to express, I mean, to be creative in my job. So and also it's not just like implementing a workflow or an automation, but you also have to understand why it needs to be done. So you also have to understand like the marketing and the sales reason behind the automations that you're working on. So I think, yeah, I really like marketing, and it's a combination of the things that I like. So it's not too technical, but it's not too heavy on marketing and sales stuff. So yeah, I think it's like a sweet spot. That's why I like it. I also like data analytics. That's why I guess I got into reporting. So that's also one thing that I want to improve on, my data analytics skills. On HubSpot, equivalent of 3 years. I've used Toggle. I remember I've used Toggle, but mostly I work in, I mean, I get my clients through Upwork, so I use the Upwork time tracker, but I've used Toggle. I've used another one, but I cannot remember what it's called. But yeah, I definitely remember using Toggle. But because I started like 2008, so imagine at the time it's not yet Upwork, it's called something else, and it's much easier to create a profile and apply for a job and get a job. So right now it's not, well, relatively not that easy anymore. There are like connects that, connects like a currency within Upwork now that you used to purchase or you used to apply. So it's like when you apply, you pay for it. So, but before it was easier, much easier. So yeah. No, it's okay. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's very competitive. The market is very competitive and saturated. So that's why I would still want to keep myself, to keep my skills updated, and also because I realize when you're working only with one company, especially in Upwork, your like portfolio gets stale, and you know the opportunity to get more jobs is sort of like affected because you're only working for one company for a long time. And that actually prompted me to, okay, maybe I should start looking for, like, I'm not looking for a replacement per se, but I'm looking for like other jobs that I can. Okay. Yes, thank you too, Laurie May. None, yeah, none right now. Usually, I don't have really questions after the interview. But yeah, it's good talking with you, and I really enjoyed the time. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, you too. Bye bye.